Okay, let's dive in and begin with a nice comfortable seat. It's important to start with comfort so that if there's something in your body that speaks as intention, that you're not allowing yourself to get distracted with it. So take a moment, kind of fidget about, get super comfortable, and welcome your bodies and our practice together by taking a nice cleansing deep breath. So breathe in through the nose, a nice washing exhale out your mouth. I had an interesting situation at school today with a couple of my students, and it's actually one of the students whom last week I spoke of that said, "Oh, Miss Wong, I love you so much." And today she came up to me and said, "Well, can I pass this note to my friend in the other class?" And I said, "Well, no, we can't really pass notes right now. Just keep it for later." And she sneakily had passed the note anyways and told me she was going to the washroom anyhow. This note was about her being excluded from a friendship. And so in the note, it read that she was worried that her friend was choosing somebody else over her and was no longer wanting to be her best friend and play with her. That's kind of how kids are. And so I read it over again, and I was thinking it was so focused on this problem of her not wanting to be included, but she never actually had the chance or had written down how she truly felt about it. And what she really felt about it was that she was hurt. She was hurt that she was excluded. And it got me thinking a lot about these issues and these problems that as adults we face day to day and absolutely all the time, and certainly in this unique time, even though we've still adapted quite well with it. And so I'm going to read to you from a book called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. So you can close your eyes, open your eyes, light gaze, but bring the focus and attention to yourselves and your body. Your inner growth is completely dependent upon the realization that the only way to find peace and contentment is to stop thinking about yourself. You're ready to grow when you finally realize that the I, who is always talking inside, will never be content. It always has a problem with something. And honestly, when the last time you really had nothing that bothered you? Before you had your current problem, there was a different problem. And if you're wise, you'll realize that after this one's gone, there'll be another one. The bottom line is, you'll never be free of problems until you are free from the part within that has so many problems itself. When a problem is disturbing you, don't ask, "What should I do about it?" Ask, "What part of me is being disturbed by this?" If you ask what I should do about it, you've already fallen into believing that there really is a problem outside that must be dealt with. But in order to achieve peace in the face of your problems, we must try to understand why you perceive a particular situation as this problem. So tonight I ask you, as part of our class intention, to be able to view maybe some of the things that you might be managing and dealing with it during this certain unique time as not something that you, as I, are directly facing, but maybe working to sift out the layers of energy underneath and see if not that root and feeling is that truly speaks in your body. And this is such a great tool and way to be able to do this, is to practice with our body so that we can better access how this responds in our minds. Please fold your hands and palms together, center chest, and just notice what pieces resonated or may have harmonized with you. And start to clarify this as your intention, a couple of words or a sentence. Using what you know, choosing how to perceive it, and as you practice, letting it be something that can encourage your inner growth. With this, we bow mind into heart to allow that connection. And as you release, take another deep breath in, keeping inhale. As you exhale, washing sigh, hands, palms down to your thighs, and we'll just start with the neck, little sweeps and rolls side to side. Maybe keep your eyes closed for this portion and just notice how your body is speaking in terms of the sensation that you're feeling. acknowledging one side and the other being just slightly different perhaps. Noticing that change is already happening in these first few moments of your practice as you breathe. Let's take our first dynamic postures. You're either going to choose downward facing dog or on all fours. On all fours, if you have any tenderness in the shoulders today, if there's still a tenderness in the wrists, then you can take fists instead. So either all fours, such as here, or downward facing dog. Take 5 heaping breaths in, filling your body from the belly and both the lungs, so there's a full capacity of breath that you're utilizing inside. And then a nice complete washing exhale from the lungs and from the belly itself. 4 more just like that. Inhale completely, belly, lungs. Exhale fully, lungs, belly. 3 to go, but no rush at all. Pace it out accordingly to your breath cycle. And what you're doing here is starting to get in touch with the physical body itself, letting your mind land in to the shapes, to the breathing, and beginning to find a nice rhythmic and balanced tone to these full cycles of breath. That's the in as well as the out. Let's add on and bring more of a dynamic nature. So either from all fours, you'll either take cow and cat positions, extending and flexing the spine, or you can climb on up into downward facing dog if you were there, and then come forward and ripple into high plank, and then ripple back into downward dog. And you're going to complete either all fours or from downward facing dog, those movements 5 times now with your breath. And whenever you feel things are too complicated or your mind is getting distracted, come back to the root of the posture, more basic in shape, so that you can rediscover where your breath can be in harmony again. Inner growth, and a part of it is about creating and being willing to change something. Here in our practice this evening, we are hoping and seeking the change in our perspective. And then it's not me, and I all the time in terms of a situation or problem. But maybe it's this physical sense, this energy, this emotion that is deeply rooted within us that we can recognize, and that maybe we can choose to change from the inside out. From all fours, make sure we're all in downward dog and approach the top of your mat with a walk or a leap to the front. Stand with 2 fists as a measure between your big toe mounds, the stem of the big toe, as well as the base and back of heel. Soften the knees, slope the spine, the head long down and toward the floor. Take an inhale and rise, halfway lift. Exhale, bowing forward, but also descending the crown of the head closer toward the earth. One more time, inhale, halfway raise, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow, forward fold, Uttanasana in Sanskrit. Bend your knees, ragdoll to rise. Rise in such a way where you take on the perspective of feeling your way stand through the vertebra. One sliding over the other like blocks until you come all the way to full standing. Top of your mat, toes spread wide, and arms alongside your hips. Stand with presence, with a deep knowing that you are here in the now. Take an inhale, reach the arms up toward the sky. Exhale, bow over your legs, forward fold. And we're start to flow here through a few sun salutations. Pelvis stacked over the middles of your feet, so not to pull any strain to the back hip. Inhale, rise, halfway lift. Exhale, bow, forward fold. Knees softly bent, hands and palms rooted to the mat as you step back, high plank. Your knees can always be taken to the earth if it's too much weight bearing on your wrist or shoulders. Draw the shoulders back, tone the belly button in and up, and make a slow descent down to the earth. Untuck your toes, roll the shoulders back, really exaggerate an open chest, and start to lift with your heart as you come up into baby cobra. Exhale to lower down. Tuck the toes underneath, sweep your elbows in close.
You have options to use the knees and root them to the floor for your press up, or you can keep the knees afloat, push into your heels and your toes, and float your way up, chest and hips level with one another, parallel to floor. Exhale, downward dog, and you're here for 5 breaths. And any time during our sequence, you're welcome to take knees to the earth on all fours instead of downward dog. Notice how your breath is here, without judging it from the last time, but just simply noticing how it's being fed or nourished in your body, where it's going, so that we can better more take on that perspective of feeling from the inside, rather than labeling that it is something that I think my breath feels short. Well, where is it in my body? How can I expand my breath, belly, and lungs? Inhale, right leg up toward the sky. Twirl around for a few times with your toes, like all 5 toes were pencils, just kind of drawing in the air in circular motions. Circle the opposite direction. Feel nice and mobile along the joints of the foot and the arch line. And then take a deep breath in, pull into your core center, belly draws in, and bring your right knee toward the right elbow. It won't matter too much if it touches, but you're really harnessing and encouraging some fire to the pit of your belly. Inhale, right leg up toward the sky. Exhale, round into center, knee, thigh into chest. And then use your core muscles to lightly place your right foot forward in between your hands. Nice job. Option to lower left back knee down or keep it raised, depending on the energy in your body. Turn your left thumb to point to the front of your mat. Draw the left shoulder in behind you and inhale the right arm up to sky for a twist. Lengthen through the waistline by drawing the top of your right hip crease back, meanwhile keeping the right knee over your right foot. Big breath in as you reach up, hand to hand. Exhale takes the right hand down, and that's it, that's all. Hands, palms to floor, step back, down dog. Inhale, rippling the spine forward, high plank. Exhale, lower. Option here to sweep a little higher off the pelvis, chest lifted, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over your feet, downward facing. Deep breath in, complete breath through. Inhale, left leg up toward the sky, twirling around through the ankle. Explore both directions and lots of range of motion as best as you can, being really active in your feet. Deep inhale, left knee to left elbow coming forward. Inhale, extend the left leg to sky. Exhale, coming through center. Pull in through the pit of your belly and let your left foot lightly land. There we go. Option to keep the right knee lifted or lower it down to the floor, but you're going to turn your right thumb to the front of the mat so it helps to bring your shoulder in behind you. Take an inhale and let your left arm float up toward the sky. Good. If you feel that you're not sure if the left hip is drawing back, you can just tuck your thumb into the crease of the hip there. Yeah, that's good. Nice work. Draw back. Good self-adjustment. One more breath in your twist. Exhale, left palm down. Left leg sweeps back, down dog. Nice slow ripple forward, high plank once again. Cycling through and with our breath in vinyasa. Inhale, rise to your back bend. That could be low cobra as well. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your big toes together to touch. Bend your knees a heaping amount. Look forward, take a leap, and come to the top of your mat with your big toes close. Good work. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. So because we're narrowing the base underneath our body, toes close together, it will be just a little bit more challenging for us to find our balance. If you feel more comfortable or if your back is tender, then certainly separate your feet. Choose either or, but inhale the arms up. Right hand around the left wrist, take a side stretch bend. Moving with our breath, inhale, come through center. Exhale, switch, clasp other side. Let's do that one more time, and we're going to add the challenge of physical balance. Come up through center, switch clasp and wrist, reach out toward the right hand side, and start to lean the majority of weight into your left foot. So toes are spread wide, and you can look down for reference. Float right leg off the floor, because the stem of the left foot is so well rooted to the ground.
That's it, good work. Come up through center by planting the foot first, and then you can really press down with both feet, come up through the middle. Switch sides. Opposite hand to other wrist to clasp, leaning over to the left. Right toes spread wide. Let's draw those shoulders down and start to draw away, floating up with that left leg. Breath is still moving inside your body, although concentrating. The goal is not to physically balance, but to discover the balance of your inhale and exhale. Feet gathered together first, and then rise through center. Good. Bless yourself here. Bow forward fold, hands and palms together. Take a cycle through vinyasa. Inhale, halfway raise. Exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, place the hands to your mat. So you may wish to lean more weight into the hands and spring the legs back to chaturanga, low push-up. If that's not working out for your wrists or your energy today, step back, high plank. Okay. Complete your vinyasa with your back bend of choice. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up toward the sky, and you'll stamp your right foot to the outside of the right hand. Bit of a hip stretch to start. So this one, the left knee is going to be down to the floor, and then you'll have the option to raise it later on. But our primary focus here is the right hip first. Draw the shoulders back, lift the heart in the chest, and you might even feel that more through the front of the left hip flexor. If the ground is a far distance away, you're welcome to place your hands on top of blocks or tools to lift your body higher and bring the earth closer to you. Take a deep breath in here. We're going to exhale and bow in while lifting the right toes up and folding down center. So we're not going to go over the right leg and the knee, but bow in so that the forehead, crown head is coming closer to the earth. Hold here for your half hamstring, half Hanuman stretch. Inhale, rise, come up toward the middle. Hands and palms come underneath your shoulders. So just a little bit of play with balance. Balance in terms of the weight shift into our hands instead of just our feet. So tuck the back left toes underneath. Raise the back left knee off the floor. And as you send more weight into the hands, lean forward a little, and you might be able to pick up your right heel. You might be able to pick up the toes. You might be able to pick up the whole foot as the knee rests on the outside of the arm. You just play with a bit of balance, leaning into the arm line. One more breath, just playing around. Exhale back, right leg to sky. Right knee bends, open up through the hip. Stack right one over left, and now let's do circles with our knee. So we can feel the function of the leg into the hip joint, and find a nice smooth range of motion from the hip now. Opposite circle if you haven't already. Extend the right leg up to the sky. We'll take a vinyasa, and you have the option to keep your right foot floating off the floor for this cycle. So that would look like coming forward to high plank, right toes stay lifted, lower down slowly. On your back bend, keep both feet down as you reach up into cobra or up dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. And again, you can be in downward facing dog, or you can be on all fours. 4 more cycles of breath. Nice complete inhale and exhale. Good. Draw your shoulders and your traps back just slightly. Spread the fingers wide and root down through the index knuckles. Very good. Yeah. I just got somebody's mic on, so I'll do that. There you go. Really good. Inhale, left leg up toward the sky. Exhale, stamp your left foot wide to the left hand. Well done. Lift the heart up, chest tall, shoulders back. Deep breath in, running down the front of the right hip flexor.
And now we'll slowly exhale and start to move our way back into that half fold. Crown head center, shoulders still on top of the hands and wrists here. So your left leg is still on that diagonal and you're folding your spine and your body center. A few breaths here, just let the head relax, hanging low. No tension in the traps of the neck there. Little nods or shakes side to side gently might be able to help bring space. When you're in the shapes of your body, do you perceive it as, oh, I feel really stiff today? Or is it simply that the muscle is lengthening through and that you're able to focus the attention of your breath into that area in order to cleanse from tension and give space? Come forward slowly, stamp left foot into floor. So here you might even just practice, how does it feel with the hands to the earth and bringing more weight into them? You can start by elevating the right knee off the ground. Okay, that's definitely a bit more weight there. If that feels okay in the hands, palms, wrists, shoulders, then you can start to lift the toes of the left foot. Maybe lift the heel. And while the knee is on the outside of your left arm, maybe try the whole of your foot and lean into it as you bear more weight into the hands themselves. Whenever you're ready, kick the left leg up toward the sky for three-legged dog, and we'll take the knee bent, circles in the air here. Opposite direction and circle. And your choice for the style of vinyasa here, so certainly if you have more energy, try keeping the left toes elevated. If you're looking for more of a grounding effect, then go ahead and drop the foot to the floor for traditional vinyasa. Inhale as the forward into your plank pose, exhale to descend. Inhale brings the rise of the energy into the breath and the body. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the mat, take them wide, child's pose. Choose your variation of the arms. You could be reaching forward, you could be reaching to your heels. You can also pray your hands together, bend your elbows, and rest the thumbs in behind the back of the neck. And just give yourself a moment to breathe again. When you're ready, slowly return back to downward facing dog. Bend into your knees and you can choose how you'd like to come to the top of your mat. Step or maybe that hop all the way up. Yeah, good work. Inhale, rise, halfway lift. Exhale, stay low, bow over your legs. Take your left foot and hook the toes in behind the right so that your baby toe sides of the feet are side by side now. So that's the left foot in behind the right. Walk your hands over to the left-hand side of your mat and sway your hips wide to the right. And just allow yourself to invite the sensation that could be experienced to the backs of the legs, outer hip, and down the glute. Soften chin to chest. Let your spine stay nice and long as the crown of your head and the weight of your head draw toward the earth. Deep breath in. What is the sensation about? How can we redirect our focus and choose to see a perspective where maybe we can discover what that root truly is? Walk your hands back through center. Squeeze and tone the legs toward one another. Imagine as though your legs were like zippers, so super strong. Belly draws in, core engaged. Bring your hands to your hips. So I really encourage you not to feel this at all in your back. Squeeze your legs, abs draw in, come to stand. Good. If right now and on that transition you felt anything in your low back at all, then bend your knees and round your back to rise instead, especially when we go to the other side. Hands on hips, you're going to bend into our knees and come into eagle pose. Bit of an enduring transition, so if the left leg tires or if your muscle really gets a little sore, then just take a moment, walk it out, and then bind your way back into the pose. Sit nice and low, so bending the knees, keeping that harness and the squeeze of the legs, drawing into your core and sitting tall in this position. Let's reach the arms up toward the sky and the right elbow drawing underneath the left. You can take your hands on your outer shoulders, backs of hands move together, maybe fronts of palms and fingers find their way to touch. Lift the elbows, lift the gaze, but still your gaze. And the gaze in yoga we call our drishti. Set the drishti nice and still in order to maybe find a stillness in your mind. Deep breath in, listen carefully. Exhale to hinge at your hips. So you're lowering your gaze down to help support your physical balance. Hands stay bound. As you uncross and unwind your right leg, you'll send it back into space, really pushing through the ball end of your foot so your spine becomes parallel to the earth. With a lot of courage, bend your left knee and start lowering your hands down toward the floor, perhaps. Try not to let go of the bind just yet until your back toes touch the earth. And then undo, unwind the hands, reach up toward the sky so there's that lift of energy. And then exhale, open into warrior two. I'm going to face you on this side. There you go. So left leg should be in front in warrior two, back toes turned. If you found your way in opposite directions or feet, that's okay. Extend the arms out to length, really open up through the chest, but allow your shoulders to stay calm. Deep breath in here. Exhale fully. Slowly straighten the left leg out. Reach forward with the left hand and let your fingertips just come to the top of the shin. Try to avoid going on the knee. We're not pushing down with too much weight, but just kind of staying away from the joint is a little safer. Inhale the right arm up toward the sky, triangle pose. Here the perspective in the pose is generally to reach the energy up, and that's great. Keep brightening your position and your energy by reaching or looking up, but also pay attention to the root of the body and the feet. Try spreading the toes wide and letting the legs be heavy because of the strength, and start to roll the top of your left inner thigh out and back. And explore the sensation now that you've made this change, perhaps through a different perspective. Inhale, rise and come through warrior two. Straighten left leg out again, but this time lift the toes so you can pivot on the heel. Hands come to your hips. Ensure that the toes meet a line straight across from one another, so adjust if one is more forward or back. Draw the shoulders in behind you, take a deep breath in, reach up. Exhale, hands, palms interlace to the back body. If the grip isn't there, just place your palms to your low back, or you can keep the hands free from each other. Draw shoulders back, soften the knees, forward fold. Whichever clasp, grip, or variation you have with the arms, I would encourage you to roll your right shoulder back so you're taking a tilt and a lean to the right. Inhale, slowly come through center. Spine is long and down to the floor. Let's roll your left shoulder up. And slowly come back to the middle here, hands, palms down to the floor. Press into them, slowly halfway raise. Exhale, forward fold. You're going to walk your way around so that you're back at the front of your mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Nice and slowly inhale forward, ripple to plank. Lower the knees down. Lower your forearms and your elbows down. We'll just take about 30 seconds, lots of breath in plank pose. You're welcome to keep the knees to the floor. Just make sure that the hips and the bottom aren't jutting up nice and high. You want to bring that low so the spine is more on an incline. Choose knees or not. Ready, and 30 seconds for physical time. And a little shorter because we have longer breath cycles to take in terms of the count. Belly still drawing in as you're practicing the breath flow and consistency of inhale and exhale. Slow release if not already, knees to floor. Press back to child's pose. And just acknowledge any response of words or phrases that may have seeped in just that moment there. Was it anything that had to do with I can't or I have to hold this? Was it even a problem or an issue for you, and did you surround it with that type of phrasing? Or was it really just a feeling in your body? Can we bring that in from the root of the issue, the core of the body, in order to be able to facilitate this inner growth of change? Please take your time, return back to downward facing. Choose your approach to the top of the mat, stepper hopping to the front. Doing really well. Inhale, rise, halfway lift. Good, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Without anticipating the series to come, without judging how it was from the last and other side, just simply approach and rise with the presence. Right foot in behind the left. Baby toes are now side by side with one another, right behind left. Good, so pay attention to your spine, and if you're feeling any inkling of strain at all, then the knees bent and ragdolling up can help. If you're okay about it, abs are a little warm now after that plank, so bring the hands to your hips, squeeze the legs firmly into one another, and come up with a long back. That's it, let's start sitting into this one, eagle position, Garudasana. So the knees bent. Imagine a chair in behind you that you were to sit right down on. Do anything you need with the foot, wrapping or toes to the floor. And then once you feel your hips are turning squarely to the front of your mat and your knees and thighs are really squeezing into one another, then add your arms and your wings. Because then you're allowing your body and telling your body that yes, I have a stable base and foundation, and I'm ready to explore an extension or variation with the arms. Left under right. Left under right? Yeah. Okay, good. Steady out your breath. Find your drishti, focal point. Let's transition. Deep breath in. Exhale, hinge at your hips and your pelvis, coming forward with the hands, changing your drishti toward the earth. A nice slow unraveling of that left leg. Unwinds and starts to present strength as it kicks way back in behind you. Go for that extension. Good, a little more oomph on that back left leg push. Good, bend your right knee and see if you can lower your fingertips closer to the earth, just a little. Whenever you're ready, feel for your back toes land to the mat. Then undo, unwind the arms. Inhale, lift up, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Nice landing, you guys. Good work. Readjust the distance of your feet if you need a greater space. For good measure, right knee standing over the middle of your foot as best as possible. Shoulders calm, arms nice and long, really pulling the breath into the full of your body, belly and lungs. Let's inhale to straighten the left leg out. Reach forward a slight amount and then place the fingertips to the top of the shin. So while we're looking down, we're going to work from the ground up. So see that your right toes are spread. See that your back left baby toe is reaching wide. And then from the earth up, feet, toes spread wide, pressing down, then start to lift up through that left hand.
Good. So on the last time on the other side, we took the perspective from the ground up. Now you're going to emphasize the reaching up and start to lift your whole rib cage and chest a little higher away from your right thigh. Good, that's it. Spine stays long. Even the eyes can start to raise up toward the sky, feeling the fullness of energy in this complete expression that you've created. Full breath in. Full breath out. As you release, slow bend into the right knee. Hands return front and back to reach. Straighten your right leg out, lift up through the toes, pivot on your heel. Hands come to your hips. So I'm going to give the option here a little bit into the inner thighs to start. So let's lift up both toes, pivot on the heels, and turn our feet out at a slight angle. Great, rest your hands on your thighs to start and start coming down into a squat. If this feels okay, meaning there's no pain or tenderness in your knee, then we're going to start to shift a little side to side. So there's options for you here. You can go as low as you want to go or stay as high as you'd like to be. So from here, you can shift the weight side to side, practicing a bit of weight transition. For those of you that feel okay in the knees, inner thighs, you can start to go lower to the floor. Now, certainly my degree of bend in the knee is very great. So if you've got tender knees and you know it so, please take the variation where you're up in your squat higher instead. Yeah. Either which one you choose, going low, but we're all going to sway from side to side. A couple more times with the movement. I find that keeping it dynamic with the motion can often really help around the surrounding knee joints. And certainly this is an area in our body that can be generally quite tight. So we want to be mindful that we're not just coming into a really strong and static hold. I know it seems like a little bit more work. We just want to keep safe in our body. Very good job. Hold center, inhale, come on up. That's it. Heel toe your feet close together so that we bring our toes to meet. Ensure that you're stepping in a way that you're at the top of your mat once again. Take a cleansing breath, reach up, look up. Exhale, bow, forward fold. Inhale, rise, halfway lift. Exhale, set the hands and palms to your mat. Step or hop the legs back to your plank. Cycle through vinyasa. Come forward, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, back, downward facing. Lower the knees down to your mat and come onto your forearms and your elbows. The elbows should be standing underneath the shoulders. The palms can be turned down to the floor, a little more challenging to get the inseam of the hand connected there. You can certainly interlace your fingers. Just make sure that the clasp, the chosen grip, isn't causing strain in your body. So generally when we grip the hands, it kind of tells our body like, oh, I need to hang on for dear life. So just be mindful of your choices, but certainly do what you physically need. Knees down or up, and then we're going to add on with an optional variation in our plank, still for 30 seconds. You choose knees or not, ready, end. Your option, take it or leave it, stay in your plank, or lift the right toes up and work at bringing the right knee to your right elbow. Extend the right leg back to straight, replace the toes to the floor, other side. Left toes lift, knee to the elbow, left leg straightens, toes to the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1 your knees come down, keep the elbows just as is, and slide your ribcage through the arms for Sphinx pose. The spine stays long here, although upwardly arched. Shoulders back, heart lifted. Exhale to lower the chest down, bring the fingertips wide. Inhale to finger stand cobra and drop the right shoulder in. So just taking care of the shoulders after the plank position. Temple to floor.
Yeah, toes can keep pointing back there, nice and firmly pressing to your mat. Inhale, untwist, unwind. Exhale, drop left shoulder to the floor. Slowly unwind, come through center, hands, palms under shoulders. A brief moment in child's pose just to flex the spine, rounding through. As you're ready, return back to downward facing dog. Step or leap to the top of your mat, you choose. Inhale, rise, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Come on up to stand, reach the arms up nice and wide. Prayer hands and palms together, center chest. Keep your hands close in this position. We call it Samastitihi, bringing balance, harmony, and steadiness. When in moments we feel the elevation physically in our bodies with our heart rate accelerating, perhaps emotionally in energy with the feelings that we experience. And so just reminding ourselves that there will always be this time and place and this ability to be able to find steadiness again. Take our last balancing posture, and then we'll start to move to the earth for more cooling postures, or rather more grounding. So let's start standing into your left foot. Lift your right knee up and cross the ankle over the thigh. This one is intended for outer hip stretch. If there's anything going on with your knee that doesn't feel good, practice your physical balance in tree instead. We are going to move to some options as we transition and change the form of this pose as well. Once again, if there's any tenderness or the body feels too much endurance on the left leg, you can take a break, walk it out, and then transition to the second pose from 2 feet. Offer hips and sits bones back. Notice the perspective in the change of your body as you fine-tune the alignment of the hips and of the lengthening of the spine. So really drawing the shoulders back and letting the heart lead the way. So from your chosen pose, either figure 4 or tree, you'll come into a quadricep stretch by uncrossing and grabbing the outside edge of your right foot and squeezing the knees together. Your option from quad stretch is to 1, stay here. Just enjoy the lengthening of the front of the leg. Option 2 is to move your way slowly into dancer. And if you remember that perspective of using the back leg to kick in behind you with strength, you'll be doing the same thing here as you kick back with the right toes and keep lifting outwardly through the left arm. Notice how your mind is speaking in your body, and ask yourself to feel sensibly from the inside out what is actually being presented here. What is my body actually experiencing versus I have to stay balanced, or I have to kick really wide, or I have to really reach forward. Just finding that way as the untethered soul would speak without verbiage of I, and moving from that place of inner root. When you're finished from your variation there in the limits of the breath, you can slowly rise, reach out, let the feet land to the floor, and we'll find Samastitihi again. Breathe it in, cleanse it out, reach up. Exhale, hands and palms, steady. Keep with our intention as we move to the last standing posture here. Weight shift into the right foot now. Take either tree if that was your chosen pose, or cross the ankle over the thigh for figure 4. That's it. We'll often take a bit more of a tilt and a sway with one side of the hip. So pay attention to that in your own physical body and work your way to align the hips more squarely and even lift and tilt on both sides, to invite that perspective of balance, to invite the change from within,
by feeling your way into the pose versus judging or labeling it from that I statement. One more breath. Where are you in your mind? As you rise on up with your inhale, uncross, undo, and catch the outer edge of your left foot. Quadricep stretch to start. Really helps if you squeeze the knees in together, help you to balance. Right arm up toward the sky, and you can stay here. For those of you that wish to extend into dancer's pose, you can start kicking back with your left foot now. A little goes a long way, meaning that there's lots of awareness and strength in that back foot as you work to kick it in behind you. Meanwhile, maintaining the balance and the reach of your right arm ahead of you. Last 2 full cycles of your breath. Slowly back up through center here, placing the foot gently toward the floor. This time we'll take arms by our side in mountain. And so as to already remember to be steady and now to be able to hold a steadiness, a composure in the body when things get busy, when problems arise, and being able to draw truly back in your center, this deep root of inner strength and calm. Take a breath in this place. And let this breath be the experience that moves within your body. Please inhale your arms up toward the sky. Exhale, hands and palms together. Now slightly a bit more focus to the inner thighs and hips today. So step your feet out as wide as your mat, and we'll start with Molasana. Then I'll guide you through a few deeper extensions. So the elbows can either rest on top of the knees and thighs. If the knees feel tender, you want to be in that squat position to strengthen the legs. If you're a little bit more pliable in the knees with no pain at all, then coming down a little lower is okay. Legs are still engaged. And then the elbows come to the inner knees and thighs to help draw them back. Yeah, so your knees and your thighs are drawing back. Lift the heart forward toward your thumbs. Low gaze across the tip of the nose is your drishti, so that you're scoping in the focus of anything that you're feeling in the body represented as tension, but make sure to discern from no pain. Is that you can help focus your mind on your breathing to let this tension dissipate with every exhale of your breath. Choose to see this as an invitation of breathing through any resistance, through any problem or challenge that may come up. You'll come up by bringing the hands down so that we can come onto our knees. Take a brief moment to just wash the hips out side to side. Notice what you might be feeling in the outer hips or thighs. If your knees are really tender, take your mat and fold it another layer, or you can bring your knees on one of those soft blocks. Just find a bit more length to our side body. So please come up onto your knees here carefully and extend your right leg out to straight. We're going to use our right leg as a kickstand, left palm down to the earth. So it can become an arm balance because we're bringing a lot of weight onto that arm again. Look down and just make sure that the left thumb is angled upward. So again, you're helping the support of your shoulder draw back. Big side stretch and reach gate pose. Gaze can be up or downward depending on where your neck is feeling. Work it really opening through the heart, drawing the shoulder blades onto your back body, and breathing into full capacity belly and lungs. Slowly come back through center, arm down. It can come to your waist for support, and then bend the right knee, slowly lower as you transition to the other side. And we'll just go straight to the other side. Palm down, left leg to straight.
That's it. Even the left baby toes are working their way in contact with your mat. Very nice. Inhale, left arm up toward the sky. Circle sweep all the way over, full reach. Breathing into your intercostals, the muscles between your ribs, and feeling that expansion across your chest as you turn it toward the left side of your mat. And come back through center. Hands to support you as you glide that right knee or the left knee in. Shift all of your weight to one side so that you can come fully to sit. Good. Left leg goes up to straight, right knee bends. Actually, sorry, I want to do the right foot standing. So it's a bit of a deep bend into the knee once again. Your heel can be quite a bit more forward if you wish, or the heel can come in close if that's okay for your knee. We're going to take that side stretch again, but we're going to use the leverage of our leg like a little kickstand to support us. So the right knee is bent, and the left arm is going to grab around the right leg. Yeah, good. Inhale the right arm up to the sky now, and take a side bend over to the left toes. So getting just a bit more broad into the waist, as well as into the QL muscle toward the low back. So you might need to just very slowly angle and turn the heart is your compass, to a direction where you're feeling just where you need in your body. And that perspective is not of, am I doing this right? Or I'm not flexible in this shape or this expression, but rather more accessing through the intuning of the body, the physical structure, as to, okay, where can I gain space and access the space of my breath to move in. Come up through center on your inhale. Slow switch to the other side. So the right leg comes out to straight. Left knee bends in. Find where the heel needs to be, further out, less pressure on the knee joint itself, further in if there's no pain. Right arm comes to the outside of the left leg. Left arm extends toward the right toes. And do try to keep the left sit bone touching down to your mat. If it starts to really, really lift up, just bring your weight back into the heel, back into the hip. One more breath cycle. Inhale, big reach up coming out of it. We're going to keep the knees bent, but draw the soles of your feet together. I'll take the perspective from the side here for you. So we're going to allow our spine to collapse over the legs more passively. So we're not pulling with our hands here at all. No leveraging whatsoever. And just allow the head to come closer toward the heels. If this disrupts your spine in any way, then certainly your hands pressing back in support can help, and then tuck the chin in so the neck isn't straining to lift up. For those of you that need more toward the low lumbar, you can slide your hands to the insides of your calves. Hook your forearms and your elbows to the back crevice of your knees, and then slowly bow forward. So still not leveraging, but allowing yourself to get closer to the earth when the hands are underneath in the shape. Take a few breaths here, breathing right into the back. And just be mindful that we're not pushing the breath into your back at all. It's a passive shape, which means we're just letting go. You're letting yourself surrender into form. Surrendering into what is now, present moment. Surrendering into sensation of physical body and self. Inhale, rise to slowly come out of your shape. Hands come to the outsides of the knees. Fold your legs together like a book and just scoot your position slightly more forward. See if you can find your sits bones. So do that by rocking a little bit side to side, a little forward and back, You should never feel any pain or pressure on your tailbone, that bone at center, but you're in fact on your sits bones themselves. Legs come forward, hands go underneath the knees, and you're going to recline back. Keep the spine long, the chest lifted so it stays lengthy. Hold here if you're breathing and feeling this into your core. Option 2, lift the toes, let them stay touching. Option 3, release the arms and keep them freely by your side. As soon as you start to feel the spine morphing into flexion or rounding out, then drop out any of the options. So hands go back under the legs or feet come back to the floor. Okay? Ready in your choices? We're going to practice a style of breath we call Kapalabhati. So really bringing that force of energy into the abdominal core of the body. It's a sharp inhale and exhale through your nose. So try to keep the mouth sealed for now. If it's very uncomfortable, then breathe just in a natural way. That's totally fine. Okay, chosen variation. Ready and breathe in through the nose. Sharp exhale from the nose and go. And exaggerate the sound of my breath so you can really feel that through the nasal passage. Good, keep squeezing the abs in as though they're clapping toward your spine. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full breath out your mouth, rise, recover, release. Inhale fully. Exhale out your mouth. Let's go again. Recline back, chest lifted, shoulders back. Take your variation of choice. Maybe you choose a different one this time. Inhale to begin. Sharp exhale out the nose. And go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big inhale through the nose. Land the feet, exhale out your mouth. One last time for good measure. All right, set it up. No pain in your back. Any variation expression that feels safe for you. Ready and inhale. Exhale through the nose, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in through the nose. Feet land, exhale. Amazing work. Bow over your legs. Settle the breath inside your body once again. When you're ready, please roll down onto your back, knees, thighs into chest. Little rock side to side to massage your back, and then you can take happy baby. Take your time. Happy baby, drawing the soles of the feet to the sky. Toes are pointing back to you, knees are bent. Hands are going to carry the outsides of the legs somewhere. Outer shins, maybe toward the heel or toward the pinky toe side of your foot. Ensure here that the tailbone is working its way down to your mat so that you have the entire length of your spine imprinting to the floor. Shoulder blades gently flushed underneath you. Heart presents itself nice and high and super open to the sky. Deep breaths here. Last opportunity, informed, observing your mind and noticing what it is speaking right here. Fall back into the physical form of your body and pay attention to what you are feeling here instead. Please take your time and come into Shavasana. You have a few moments to prepare and let yourself get as comfortable as you wish. Lights, blankets, music. In our Shavasana, we'll take some time for your relaxation. And then the way that I'll draw you back out of a class is to come back together. So take time to get really comfortable here in your form. And then I'll mute my mic as well, and I'll call you back in just a couple of minutes. If your entire body could breathe your breath, take the deepest and most fullest inhale here. And let your entire body sigh
with all the heaviness, with any energy, with anything that we label or call as problems or issues, and just let them go. May you enjoy your time in Shavasana to stay in tune to what you know is true as you in the being of your body. Noticing your breath rhythm and pace. And breathing organically in your body now. And paying attention and acknowledging what you have just created in this journey in your practice this evening. To attain true inner freedom, you must be able to objectively watch your problems instead of being lost in them. No solution can possibly exist while you're lost in the energy of a problem. The only permanent solution to your problems is to go inside and let go of the part of you that seems to have so many problems with its reality. And once you do that, and once you realize, you'll be more clear enough to deal with what is left. Bring Bring a twinkle of movement into your fingers and your toes. Feel free to stretch the arms overhead, letting your body lengthen from end to end, hands to feet. And slowly bending your knees one at a time and rolling over to one side, fetal position. And when you're ready, slowly rise up to your seat. You can bring your hands and palms to fold together if you like. Rather more an appreciation, a sense of gratitude for you showing up and being committed to this inner practice and this great inner work that you have created. May you continue to grow from the inside out and be able to stay in touch and in tune with this great sense of your physical self. Thanks for embarking on this journey tonight. Namaste.